Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, Tiki Live, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host, here to start your day in the most positive way. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. I used to say Kardashian, but she's actually doing some nice things for friends of mine in the nonprofit world. So I don't say Kim anymore, but I do say Kanye, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. And if you missed any of my past 740 shows, you can go on my YouTube, free subscribe, and get a plethora of fascinating people from, as you heard from the promo. Fran Drescher's been on a couple times, half the cast of Happy Days. So all of that is available for you for free on the YouTube channel. And I have a wonderful, beautiful, lovely guest with me today. And she's going to really light up my learning this morning, because I know nothing about shamanism. It's one of those things I have definitely always wanted to learn about. And let me just pull up her bio here, because I don't have this one down by memory, but she's a wonderful award-winning author. She has done so much wonderful work. She's won tons of awards, and we'll get to those. But she is also an intuitive visionary artist, spiritual teacher, shamanic practitioner, and a painter of souls who shares the wisdom and spiritual teachings born of her personal experience with shamans and mystics worldwide. Her book, which is we're going to talk about, Artist Shaman Healer Sage, is a foundational shamanic guidebook to ignite your creativity and passion as the conscious dreamer of your life. And that's what we're talking about today. So without further ado, because she's on camera already, please welcome to my studio, Katherine Skaggs. And
hi, Dr. Marissa. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the studio, Katherine. So happy to have you. And before we get started on shamanism, and I see some eyeballs too on the stream, if you're listening in your car and you're about to go in your office, you can join us on YouTube and Facebook Live, as we are live in studio to ask Katherine questions or say hello. Or best yet, for now, we're going to start with breakfast. And breakfast with me means taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So we started this, I'd say, I don't know, Sam, like 3-4 months maybe. Usually Tuesdays I make him do gratitudes with me, but he got relieved by you this morning, Katherine, because you agreed to do this. And what we do is just do tag team gratitude. The top of the bun of my sandwich is gratitudes for specific things. So friends and family doesn't count. Too broad, general, specific things you're grateful for. We're going to do 8 of them. Dr. Wayne Dyer, beloved teacher who's on the other side now, said start the day with 5. I'm a bit of an overachiever, and 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So that's why we do 8. And then the bottom of the bun is 8 things that we appreciate about ourselves. And normally we do those at night. So we're going to prime you for tonight so you can get a better night's sleep, choosing ways in which to soothe and approve of yourself instead of looking for love in all the wrong places. So let's get started. I'm going to start with, I am specifically grateful that I get to learn about all kinds of wonderful things because of this show that I've had the blessing of producing and hosting for the last over 9 years. So I'm grateful for that. And what are you grateful for, Katherine?
I am very grateful for all the wonderful people and spiritual teachers who've come across my path, and that they've often shown up as a result of me going through difficult times, that I've gotten to find them, learn with them. So I'm going to just name the shamans down in the jungle that I've gotten to work with, the ones in Mexico, the ones in the United States, and all over the world that have been so blessing. I want to mention the Power Path School of Shamanism, who Jose and Lena Stevens touched my life, along with so many other people that is too vast, but I'm very grateful for all those I've come across.
Beautiful. And I'm grateful for hot showers in the morning, that we have running water and heavy running water, that we have that luxury here. And
amen. And I am so grateful for my animals, my dogs that I have, the blessed furry people who come in and remind me how to love unconditionally.
I call them unconditional dogs for that reason. So we're on the same page for sure. My third gratitude is my sense of taste, so that I can enjoy my own banana bread recipe that I made for a little party I had this weekend for my visiting out of town guests, my bonus family. And so the fact that I can taste, which is why I'm so, don't want COVID, because that's the worst part, is losing my sense of taste.
I agree with that one. Okay, I love my plants. I love my garden. I love sticking my fingers into the soil. I'm so grateful that I have enough water, like you said, and a good yard to have my beautiful plants in. And that's something that was passed on to me from my mom. So I appreciate that.
Great. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in northern Colorado in Fort Collins.
Okay, cool. I've been there once. I had a beautiful reception from Tattered Covers bookstore, and I got to do a book signing there. They gave me this beautiful engraved bookmark, and because of them, I made national bestseller list with Denver Post. So that'll be my fourth gratitude. I am grateful for my trip to Denver and Tattered Covers and just the blessing of the book. So, and you, last one?
I am very grateful for all the people who help communicate this information to the world to make a better place for you, and for all the bookstores that are still there, the online booksellers, and every teacher who's there who said yes.
Beautiful. And I just had a comment, just looked over. Maureen Jones is so excited for this interview. I love her book. Now, there you go. There's some love right off the bat. Peace in, peace out, Maureen. Thanks for tuning in and chatting. And we'll leave that beautiful comment up there. That's her gratitude. And then we'll jump to the appreciations. 4 things that you appreciate about yourself. And the reason why I ask people to make this a discipline is that most of us are not raised to appreciate ourselves. We're told to not be all that, and not, toot your own horn, and, not stand out. In Chinese, there's a saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So I certainly grew up that way. It was very uncomfortable. I raised my kids on the way to school and embarrassed them, because whenever we carpooled, I would make the kids say, gratitude, and then what do I appreciate about myself? And I'll tell you, the first time is very awkward, because I don't know, because they just are not told to do that. And as a result, We have a generation, 3 generations, 4 generations of people walking around going, who likes me? Who loves me? Who likes me literally? How many likes do I have? And all of that just makes for a very unself-caring world. So the appreciation is specific for yourself. So what are 4 things that you specifically like about yourself? So I'll start again so you get an idea. I appreciate that I'm funny. And the story behind that is I had a husband who told me almost every day that I was not funny. And that was the best part of divorce for me, was owning my funny. So that's my first appreciation. Let's go to you.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to say this, but now that you said that, I appreciate that I found my sense of humor and my irreverence through my journey. I might even write a book on it, because it's really important to not take ourselves too seriously. So I was very serious growing up. So I'm very appreciate funny, humor, and a little bit or a lot of irreverence.
Well, this is an FCC ruled show, and it is in the morning. So I'll just warn you with that. However, I used to do a series every last week of the month. I used to be only on once a week, and now I'm on 5 days a week. So, and in the morning. So I had to drop my Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa series, but that is available to everybody on the playlist on YouTube if you want to get blush a little bit. Maureen, you are also welcome to put an appreciation of yourself. I will give one to you, which is Maureen is expressive and appreciative. So there's your appreciation for you. I appreciate that I don't beat myself up 88% of the time. I used to beat myself up pretty much constantly, and now only 12% of the time. So I appreciate that.
That's beautiful.
Great. Thank you.
I appreciate being a creative person, and from the little girl out, I appreciate that I'm kind of more than one, but that creativity is a foundational piece that I've owned since I was little, but as an adult, really understanding the blessings from it and doing my best to pass that on. I appreciate that.
Beautiful. And finally, for me, I appreciate that I now own my sensitivity, because I know that people used to say, don't be so sensitive. And it really, I would just want to lash out. But now when people say, you're so sensitive, and I go, thank you, because sensitivity is 100% correlated with creativity. So I'm happy to be sensitive. And last but not least, Catherine?
I appreciate that I'm at this point in my life. Who knew that 60-something would be as good as better than anything else, that I can own who I am and be the crone and just appreciate the aging process and to be real.
Beautiful. And we're going to top it off. We have an appreciation for Maureen. I appreciate my resilience and being a woman of my choosing. You do have a way with words, Maureen. There's another appreciation for you. All right. And that is the top and bottom of your gratitude sandwich. I hope you remember to do your appreciations tonight before you go to bed, instead of thinking about what you didn't get done or who insulted you or what's wrong with the world. You can just go to bed knowing that you appreciate yourself. So there's breakfast with Dr. Marissa and taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. I do so love starting every show that way, or most of my shows. So thank you for participating with me, Maureen and Catherine. And Sam got a break this morning, so yeah, I'm sure he's appreciating that as well. And we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break for the news and weather and sports on the KCAA's channel. And then we're going to come back and launch into shamanism, Catherine's award-winning book, her art, I'm actually going to pull some of it up in the share screen. And Karen, peace in, peace out. Shout out to my former editor, who is herself an author and helps other authors like Katherine go through the process. And she's one of the main people behind COVR Awards, which is something that I only have a silver. You've got a bunch of golds. So I saw that list and I go, okay, maybe I need to enter again next year. Anyways, we'll be right back with more of Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢.
Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on, I will.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you can enjoy short films that my hashtag COVID Silver Lining was to bring forth PPP, post-pandemic possibilities, which you can get there along with my red carpet playlist, where I got to interview the Temptations backstage last month, and my interviews with Quincy Jones, Halle Berry, John Travolta, and a whole plethora of super interesting people. You'll get all of that. And if you go and visit drmarissa.life, you can sign up for my free Get Happy orientation, which is the last Friday of every month. So it's coming up next Friday, the 29th. And then my Balanced Tai Chi Gong class on the beach. If you're anywhere near Long Beach, Saturday morning, the 30th, I'll be having a class, and that's by donation. All of that information is on drmarissa.life. And today, I'm so excited to have a very special guest who is going to introduce me to shamanism, because I know nothing about it, as well as talk about her new, beautiful, award-winning book that is not just a book, it's a guidebook, and it has really gorgeous, beautiful colors and pictures. Please welcome back to the studio, Katherine Skaggs.
Thank you, Marissa. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful to be here too. And let me just. Can you tell I like affirming?
I do, yes.
No, I do not sleep with that applause button by my bed. Although if I could, I would. No, I'm kidding. All right, so let's launch right in. And if you could give me a definition of what a shaman or shamanism is, and why is that even important for us to know?
You know, we're having a resurgence in the interest in shamanism. And so what is it and why? And it's an ancient spiritual practice, actually. It's beneath Buddhism, it's beneath Hinduism, it's beneath even Christianity. It goes deep into the roots of humanity and our beginnings on this planet of connecting to spirit or the divine in all life. So imagine nature. You know, I just saw your little Tai Chi piece as we were sitting there. I'm like, that's shamanism, actually. When you connect to the energy of the earth, when you connect to the elements, when you connect to the ocean, when you connect to, and you're gathering that energy and you're well in your body and your spirit, it's because spirit is in all things. Life force is in all of the earth, in the heavens. And to me, that's shamanism. I grew up in Oklahoma, and we had a farm.
A lot of shamans there.
Well, probably I didn't get to meet them. I was a little white girl out there running around with my horses and things like that. But that's where I was, like, in nature was where I was sane. I grew up in a very conservative, religious family, and to some extent, but the spirituality was in nature for me. As beyond the dogma in the religion I grew up, which, you know, I love Jesus and I had all my good grounded foundations of the best parts of it. But as I saw it through my life, it was for the mind, body, spirit. It was for the blessings, the wholeness, the love through the challenges, which later led me to shamanism. And a shaman in traditional language from the Siberians, they will tell you that a shaman is the one who sees through the dark, that they see through the mystery of life. They understand the weavings of heaven and earth and the blessings that bring us together by, I call it universal law and truth, but it's broken down through tribes all around the world, indigenous peoples around the world, where we all are from ultimately a oneness, not a separation. But one of the basic premises is that we are dreaming our reality, that this is a dream. And when I got into more mind, body, spirit, spirituality, we talked about it as creating our reality. And so but it's also through your prayers, through understanding that everything has consciousness. So, you know, we speak to the plants. I know that my animals have incredible awareness, and there's a higher divine awareness that can be connected to, because I think you've mentioned it. I love your show. I love your focus, because this encompasses everything I learned spiritually, metaphysically, to bring to, and quantum physics. It all fits together from my experience of many years now, is that there's divine principles that are active, and indigenous peoples have lived with this for eons. And even if you've got a Siberian shamanism, you've got Native American, you've got Buddhism, you've got Hinduism, you've got any earth-based religion or spiritual practice, and you're going to find the same components that are here to teach us practically how do we live life happy. What are the divine principles? And shamanism for me has encompassed them. And I've had good fortune to sit with shamans in the jungle, to be with them in the Andes, to be with them in Mexico, to be with them in the United States. And the principles wove in to everything I've been working on practicing since my 20s. And actually, even I can go back and be grateful for the conservative place I began religiously, because the principles were there too.
Interesting. That is so fascinating. I have to be honest. I got that tingling, creepy crawly when you said about the balanced Tai Chi Gong, which was downloaded to me like 10 years ago, where my auntie practices it in the park in Taiwan, and I was at a very low point in my life after an extremely difficult and expensive for me divorce, and then when I found Agape International Spiritual Center, and Michael Bernard Beckwith became my big brother. And so it was maybe a year or two when that just began. So I was in yoga, and the teacher didn't show up. And so they said, does anybody do yoga? I said, well, I don't do traditional yoga, but I do Chinese yoga. So I led that class, and it turned into this big, it got produced into a download and DVD. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is one of the forms is called gathering. So when you said gather, I just went, woo, I'm doing it again, getting all creepy crawly, because here I am saying to you, I know nothing about shamanism, and you go, well, you're kind of doing the shaman thing. So I'm like blown away, because there are no accidents. And I absolutely know that this is a very timely topic, because I read in your introduction to your beautiful book, it says, I love this, igniting, let's see, the book is a foundational shamanic guide for igniting your creativity and passion as the conscious dreamer of your life. Great Spirit gives us many clues to living a life of joy, abundance, and harmony. However, as humans, we often walk around in the dark, confused as we chase linear goals disguised as separate from our true nature as spirit. And if it doesn't take this out of the woo-woo realm into an all-encompassing framework for us to get in touch with our natural connection to the pure beauty and joy energy of life, I don't know what is. So I'm just so excited, and that I guess I've been practicing not knowing that I've been practicing it. So
yeah, I think a lot of people who have certain little parts of their lives that bring them joy don't understand that that's really the essence of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the joy of being in the garden, and it can be unconscious. It can just be joy, which is good, great. On the other hand, part of this is like, one of the teachings I embrace that makes so much sense to me is life is a ceremony. What if, and using curiosity and creativity, is what if life is a ceremony that brings us into that oneness, into connection with each other, into connection with our land, into connection and appreciation of the water and the food that's been given. If we had some real foundational parts of that your appreciation, gratitude, what we focus on, together we'll shift the reality out of this chaos and suffering back into cooperation, and how beautiful the planet's beautiful, and it's kind of treacherous at the same time. But we've become separated, and this is, as we can use these principles and come into this, we can change everything. We can heal our hearts. I mean, I saw something on Facebook this last week, I try not to be in there too much. And it was, someone had posted a picture of a woman who had a lot of plastic surgery. And there were a lot of people with outrageous judgmental comments. And my first reaction was sadness, but I didn't want to be judgmental. I felt sorry for this person, but I really wanted to go to compassion, that she was a reflection of a broken heart. She was a reflection of a broken system where we've looked outside ourselves And it's part of what you've been speaking, teaching, everything, but it's so part of the whole journey, as far as I'm concerned, is how do we come back and truly love ourselves and know that we are connected to spirit, we are connected to God, we are connected to the divine, whatever our language is, and to appreciate that. And this will be lovable, when we can find that path. And the path of shamanism has worked with, just reconnecting to the natural world and the spirit and divine. And then we can start seeing it in other humans, because this separation and this conflict we've been in, we see the ugly, we don't see the beautiful, and we've got to find our way back to the beauty path. And the many parts, there's many parts to shamanism, but it's really simple when you get down to it.
Yeah, I want to just really highlight what I think is like a drop the mic moment. When you said that the meaning of life is to come and connect with nature, the world, the physicalness of life, with ourselves and with each other. Now, that is not what I was taught subconsciously and consciously growing up in this society. The meaning of life was to do well in school, to get a good job, to do that and be really good at it, to make a lot of money, to buy a lot of things that when I died, my kids and grandkids would squabble over. That was the meaning of life. That is our consumer, notoriety, fame and fortune. That was my unconscious lesson as I watched TV, as I was told to do well in school, all of that. And what you're saying and suggesting and highlighting as the true meaning of life is that we're on this earth to explore and connect with each other, which is something we can't maybe do when we're in that energetic soup out there where there is no conflict, there is no, it's all peace and love, which is wonderful. And we are that. And I believe that. And when we die, it's really not that big of a deal because we just go back into that state of pureness. But we have a chance on earth to physically connect, physically explore, physically create, physically tap into this energetic wonder, the energy that creates the worlds in its most beautiful natural form. And that aha just went off as the true meaning of life. So next time somebody asks me what the meaning of life is, I got a good answer thanks to you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I get it.
It's a path of learning to see where our ego is taking us astray away from what is harmony. Because the natural world will teach us about harmony and when we're out of balance. So it'll teach us about cycles. It'll teach us about abundance. It'll teach us, if we're paying attention, we'll see the patterns that create lack from the mind, the emotions, and the spirit into the physical reality. If we pay attention, we're going to start seeing where we contribute to the difficulties in ourselves, and then where we can get honest and come back and shift through love to be more harmonious. Now, one of the things that I learned from the shamans in Peru, that I want to honor my Shipibo shamans. They live on the Amazon River, down in a place called actually San Francisco, Peru, which actually is not on the map. It's a little bitty community of about 2,500 Shipibo people. And through their teachings, they'll tell you that you're born as a song. Now, quantum physics and other teachings, they're very, shamanic cultures are right brain. They are creative. They're artisans. So they understand that sound and visual and form are the same thing. So when you sing, it creates vibrations that create color, form, light. They understand this from the essence of it down to the physical reality of it. So if you're born as a song, and that's harmony, and you get frightened, you get fear, you have trauma, someone says you can't do that, or you're not supposed to be that way. Well, that disturbs your true harmony, because your harmony is to be free. Your harmony is to be loving, high vibrational energy, which we can bring in quantum physics, we can bring in mind, body, spirit, attitudes, thoughts. But you start being hateful or you get afraid, your song gets distorted. Your energy, your essence, I say, it like disturbs you. And guess what? That's when you get into I can't, or lack, or ugly, or illness in your body, or life isn't easy. And so what they do to heal is to sing into you, to sing back into you, just have the plants sing into you. They listen to the plants and hear their songs. They listen to your energy and sing your song back to you. The cool thing is, when I started this work 15 years ago or so, and then I was doing spiritual work before that for another 20 years, I didn't think I could sing. I didn't think I was musical. Now I could paint and I could do all those kind of things. I could write. So one of the interesting things that happened was my voice activated. And I started to hear other people's songs. Now, I'd been doing something called soul portraits for a while, meaning that I could sit with you and I would bring through a visual image representing your soul aspect, or at least part of you that is there to heal and awaken you. And I would hear spiritual guidance. Last thing I ever thought I'd do is sing into somebody.
That sounds wonderful.
And the cool thing is, now that is part of me, because it woke up inside of me as I healed. So imagine the world. Their song is distorted because there's so much fear and fright. It's hard to be in harmony because we're afraid of the economy. We're afraid of COVID. We're afraid of each other. We're afraid of so much in our world. And it's been imprinted. It's what you're talking about. You were told this, you've been imprinted it. The news is on telling us to be frightened. And we walk around, don't want to be close to each other.
Right, right.
And so when we sing, do you sing?
Actually, it's so funny. I had a fork in my road after my first master's, and I was actually scouted and was going to put a demo tape together with Sade's team. And my father got wind of it and came down and said, he was a PhD. He's in heaven now. He succumbed to lymphoma, but he said, "You're good, but you're not that good." and he loved me. This came from love. He goes, "You don't. There's a lot of really good singers who are dying to sing. Like they're going to give it. And you have, other talents, and you've wanted to be a PhD since you were 5 years old, to follow in my footsteps. So you can always come back to music." So I took that fork, and he said, "You can always come back to it. You can always." So I actually came out of, I was a lounge lizard. I was retired, and I came out of that to start singing with the Agape International Choir, which a lot of people recognize me from. But I write music. I have original stuff, and I have it in my mind that will be part of a screenplay at some point, and to redo that. But it is a part that I know that I'm a little bit disconnected, and that it's maybe more central than I give it. And when you ask that question, I'm getting all emotional through this interview, which is really interesting. I was going to ask you, what's going on with me? Do you see it? I mean, are you feeling that?
I feel it. I mean, that my first intuitive piece is feeling, sensing, and then I interpret that. And so I get the sense your heart's being touched at deep levels. Your heart's being touched. You're remembering expanded parts of who you are. Like your singing is not just what you're going to achieve about it, right? It's a really important part of you. And I was getting ready to say, when you sing, your heart can't be shut. when you sing, your heart is full open, especially like in the Agape Church. Oh my goodness. It's like that's where you exude love big through your world. We get from here to here. And that's your soul being open and pure and true to yourself. Whether or not you're ever professional or not, I mean, you are professional at it, but no matter how big you go, it's your love. It's something really important. That's spirit speaking through you, through your gifts.
That's so weird, because I was debating quitting choir, because one of the things that I've always wanted was recognition as a soloist, and I just don't get it. The last choir management and this choir management, and so it's difficult for the ego when people say, "Oh my God, why haven't you had solos?" And you're not seen that way by the powers that be, and so I was ready to quit, and someone said, "But you can't quit because you are the choir. You're a face of the choir, and so that's another reason you're talking is addressing that piece of my pain."
Yeah.
And I really have to. I looked at the time and went, "Oh my God, we haven't even looked at your book." So stop talking about me and the energy, which I think you've done more than a great job explaining what shamanism is. And I hope that you all heard that. I'm getting tons of really nice comments here. Part of our purpose is to rediscover our song and sing it in Latin. That's beautiful, Maureen. Absolutely. Karen, thanks for sharing Katherine and her work. You're welcome. And speaking of sharing your work, I'm going to share the screen and show you the cover of her book, which is so beautiful. And you actually did this illustration yourself in all of the illustrations. Is that correct, Katherine?
Yeah, there's more than 70 paintings in this book from original art. This is called Jaguar Shaman. And there's, another piece that's in there. And it's a beautiful book. I mean, speaking of vibration, this is a vibrational piece and not just an intellectual thing to read. It gives you practices. The artwork they were all created as, imagine this, a portal to the divine. Imagine that, like your song's a portal to that feeling, sense, knowing of the divine. Every piece of art is created that way and lives on through the book in that way. I want to say thanks, Lori Beatty, for being my designer and co-creating this with me, helping me bring my vision forward.
Right. That looks like me.
It does, doesn't it?
That's so beautiful.
It gets into the medicine wheel. I speak specifically also to the archetypes of the artist, the shaman, the healer, and the sage as aspects of yourself to connect with, to get to know, to bring forward your creativity, to bring forward the part of you that connects to the divine. Also how to work with the medicine wheel as cycles. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. This is a great way to learn about working with the energies of cycles of the earth and bringing that into practices, just like brushing your teeth, creating your gratitudes, creating practices that help you live a life full of meaning and ceremony, and to heal, where we have pain. I didn't get on my path because I was all happy. I got on my path because of the challenges.
Yeah, I call it chiseling. That pain chisels us into more and more beauty.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, that is beautiful. How do we get this book?
You can buy it at Amazon.com. You can buy it on Satyama.com, who's my publisher. You can go direct to my website, KatherineSkaggs.com, and get it. I think we've got it on Etsy too. If you buy it direct from me, let me know, and I'll give you a signature to go with it. There's also artwork and other things you can buy, but if you can Google it, I'm sure you can find it in a lot of places. Go see if your local spiritual store has it. A lot of them do, and if they don't, we ought to get it there. But those are some places you can get.
So Katherine, I'm putting it in the banner, skaggs.com or .org? or www.satyama. Is Karen org or com?
Com.
Com, okay. So Satyama or Google. Actually, in my home, we call it Christina It because she works at Google. Actually, her husband as well now, Aaron. So we're a Google family here. So that is how you can get the book. Let's see, how much time do we have? Oh, good. We have a little bit more time. So let's see. For people who are feeling all of that fear that you talked about, it's almost difficult to escape it. If you are watching anything or listening to anything, going on social media, besides getting your book and exploring, what other advice do you have for people who are just feeling the anger and the hate and the fear and the hopelessness that's going on around us now?
One of the biggest, simplest, free things to do is to step outside, feel your feet on the ground, on the earth, hug a tree, literally. You think those tree huggers? Well, there's something about that. Go out, if you can, lay face down on the earth somewhere and cry if you need to. And consciously know that Mother Earth and all her plants, all her medicines are conscious. And one of the things is I pray with my allies. So I'm like, would you please help take this suffering? But when you step away, your mind starts to slow down when you get in nature. And she has a vibration or frequency which she begins to blanket you. Yeah, you may not want to do it where people are watching you going, what's that weird lady doing over there? You got a backyard or a park where people chill out, or just sit and take your shoes off, be in the earth. The other thing, so take time to step away from your linear achievement reality, to breathe, to do your Tai Chi, to connect with the earth wherever you are, to move your mind and your emotions and your body to sensing the beauty around you, focusing on beauty and gratitude, because whatever you focus on expands.
Yep.
Spiritual teachings tell you that. Quantum physics tell you that. It's real. So you've got to get out of the rut, turn the TV off, step away from social media, take a break from your devices. If you're really getting whacked, turn it off and get into the nothingness, get into the timelessness, whether it be meditation, taking a walk in the woods, doing Tai Chi. That will release some energy of the negative focus. Yeah, there's lots of other things, but those are really basics. They're free, and it takes just willingness. That's all it takes.
Absolutely. Really good advice. It's not, you notice it's not with your mind. It is with your spirit. It is with your soul, which I say is a connection where the spirit connects with the body. So I absolutely, it's funny because yesterday I was saying, I live at the beach, but when was the last time I just, for no reason at all, I used to do this, is walk along the water's edge at sunset. And I stopped that practice. I don't even know when. And I have a feeling that this was perfectly timed to encourage me to do that again. As well, it is... I had a really good thought and it left. But speaking to you reminds me of speaking to, I'm sure you know him, a wonderful friend of mine who is Toltec teachings, Don Miguel
Ruiz, yes.
And I get that same feeling when I'm with you. And I love making my guests cry, which is really horrible to say in that sense. But when people cry, it means their hearts are open and they're sharing their hearts. So you reverse cried me today. And I never apologize. And I tell my clients never to apologize for crying because tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. You've been tuned in here to Take My Advice on Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, with a beautiful woman who has brought not the new concept, but reconnecting me with my own shamanism here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Katherine Skaggs, she has a beautiful book. The name of the book again is?
Artist Shaman Healer Sage. And the subtitle's Timeless Wisdom Practices Ritual and Ceremony to Transform Your Life and Awaken Your Soul.
Ooh, say that one more time, a little slower.
So Artist Shaman Healer Sage is the main part, and then the Timeless Wisdom Practices Ritual and Ceremony to Transform Your Life and Awaken Your Soul. And I see I had a different tagline. That must be an old image.
But it's shorter, and I'm sure it fit. But it means almost exactly the same thing as you just said. But I love the key thing here is I can't think of a better time for people to awaken to this truth because of all the nuttiness and that whole shift from what you're saying. I called it Newtonian thinking, which is linear. You know, what's wrong with our society? Well, you know, welfare doesn't work, or, you know, prison doesn't work, or, how do we fix this? How do we fix homelessness? Well, we just do this. And that's such a linear, Newtonian, simplistic way of looking at our world that is so interconnected, that it's also missing that shamanic, it's the power that creates the world. Why wouldn't we want to harness or be in the middle of that instead of trying to force, a war on this, war on that, pro this versus pro that, and all of this fighting is not going to connect us. As we are seeing, United States has become an oxymoronic word.
Yep.
So I can't think of a better time than for us to take a step back. Oh, I know what I was going to say when you said step away. Remember those car alarms when you touch the car and it would say, step away from the device. And that's what we all have to do. I tell my clients, plug in your phone in another room so you're not tempted to pick it up first thing in the morning and start endless, useless scrolling. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, now it is time for us to let's take a breath. I don't think I do this with a lot, but I just want us to anchor the wisdom that's been shared in the show today. In through the nose and release. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in. And releasing all the stories and the drama. And one more deep breath in. Connecting with Katherine Skaggs and all of the beautiful, harmonious, balancing, joyful, peaceful wisdom of the ages that we've gathered here. And release. And come back to the room. Thank you so much, Katherine. It's been delightful. You can find her at katherineskaggs.com. This is Dr. Marissa, reminding you that it's all about balance. You want to do this with me? Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go have the best day ever and see you tomorrow. See ya.